Alright, it's time to get everybody up to speed. I am not in Las Vegas. A couple weeks ago when I went out to the Hoover Dam, I met some Navajo. And they got to talking to me and they invited me out. So I took them up on the invitation. I spent 2 days in Flagstaff, Sedona. I'll start there. I was not impressed at all. As a matter of fact, I was really, really disappointed, but not shocked. I'm not shocked. Everything good that comes along gets hijacked by commercialism. And that's what's happened there, to me, in my opinion. And they're not very friendly either. If you have a pet, there's like no place there that will rent to you or rent a room, Airbnb or nothing. If you have a pet, they want to charge you more for the pet than they do for you. It's ridiculous, and so they're not pet friendly, and that right there was a big red flag to me. So I didn't waste my time there, and I just went on to the Navajo reservation, and I got to talking to them about symbolism, which is why I was invited out. I explained to them I do the symbols. Well, this group that I met had an old dude on the tribe that was into the symbols, and I talked to him about the Cherokee Nation symbolism and the seal of the Cherokee Nation, and I explained to him that as far as I'm concerned, those were given to the tribes by the white man. These were not designed by the tribes. This is the seal and the emblem they want them to have, or they think they represent. But the elders have the original symbols of the tribe. And I went and checked them out. And what I told them the symbols mean, when I explained to them what the symbols mean, the old dude started crying. And he told me that's what his grandmother told him. His grandmother, not his grandfather. So they had a dude on the Hopi reservation. So off to the Hopi reservation we go. And I look at their seals, their symbols, and I am shown some old Hopi symbols. Now, some of them you will see, like these. These are a very old common Hopi symbol, but they have been manipulated. What we see, to me, Google scrubbed everything. I shit you not. Especially where symbolism is concerned. And I'm going to talk a lot. This whole thing is going to be about symbolism. So, I talk with the Hopi about the symbolism. And same thing. When I explained to them, and I had Navajo and Hopi sitting right there. And I'm showing them my symbols, and they're showing me their symbols. And I'm explaining to them what they are. And they asked me, how do you know this? And I said, it's something called alchemy. And these symbols are the same all over the world. And I said, you get these symbols when you go spirit walk. And they started crying again. How do you know this? How do you know this? I said, it would take me forever to explain to you how I know this. It was a process of elimination and paying attention to patterns and spending decades in ancient languages. That's the shortest definition or explanation that I have. But this is what I learned, because it's all about the spirit walk, because that's where symbolism comes from. When I tell you that your mind is split into three sections. You have a subconscious, a conscious mind, and an imagination. And you have a higher mind. It's actually split into four, but that's kind of connected to the imagination, really. But anyway, the universe, your subconscious, and your imagination speaks in symbolism. Imagination speaks in language and symbolism. It's the go-between. The conscious mind speaks language. The unconscious mind or subconscious mind speaks symbolism. The dream state speaks symbolism. The universe speaks symbolism. When I've talked about this before, and this is what I explain to them that I come to understand, is that every tribe around the world had a medicine man, or a rabbi, or a teacher, or a Buddha, or something. They had a holy person in the tribe, and that holy person knew the plants from nature that was given to their people. I use the example of South America. They do ayahuasca, and they see the serpent people and the serpent images. Everything is in symbolism. You can go on YouTube and look through people who trip on DMT, and they say, wow, it's like an acid trip, and there's all these images and symbols, and they don't have a clue what it means. We have dreams and symbolism, and we don't have a clue what it means. Let me pause here for a second. No, let me jump on to the Cherokee Nation seals as well, because, and then I'm going to go to the Choctaw. These are the Cherokee Nation seals. These are the symbols that were given to them by the white man. Let me pull up Choctaw here, because we're going to go to the Choctaw Nation next. It's also in Oklahoma. Their symbols. Very important. These symbols are very important. Now I want to take you somewhere else. This is on the Choctaw Nation Reservation, sitting at the top of the Comanche Mountains in the National Forest. And it's called Three Sticks. That's what they call it. It's Three Sticks. Different pictures of it. This is the view down into the valley from Three Sticks here. And you can see down into the valley. But these are the three pillars, the three crosses, the three pillars, the three ways, the three paths. Now, here's what I learned. Gurdjieff taught the fourth way. And in nature, the universe is nature. And nature speaks in symbolism. And everything is divided into, really, threes and fours. Which is funny, because that's exactly the threes and the fours in numbers is what really has stuck with me through language. Because in the original Greek, we have alpha, beta, gamma, delta. We have A, B, D, G. So we have D and G. But in the Arabic, it's Aleph, Beta, Daleth, Gimel. It's they switch places. The Gamma, Delta, and the Daleth, Gimel switch places, and they hold the spot of 3 and 4. So you have 3 crosses, 3 pillars, but you have 4 elements. You have earth, water, fire, and air. And air is always spirit. Air symbolisms are always birds. This feathered serpent from South America, that's how we know that was the Libra Aries axis. Am I saying that right? Yes, cardinal. That was the cardinal cross. Right now, we're in mutable water, which is Europe, mutable earth, Africa, no, mutable earth is Australia, fixed earth is Africa, South America was feathered serpent, Libra, cardinal air. Cardinal air fell from grace, or fell from heaven, fell from air, Venus, and became Africa, fixed earth. That's why the symbolism matches. That's why it's the same. That's why you see in North America, you see the black Toltec, because it's cardinal earth. I know where, because of Three Sticks. Now, Three Sticks has a special meaning to me and to the, especially the Choctaw tribe, but the other, some of the other tribes are aware of what the Three Sticks symbolism means, and that in the time of the changing of the ages, when that time comes, like what the Hopi talk about the Kachinas, when the time comes, the only thing that saves you is the Three Sticks. You go to the Three Pillars. You go to the alchemy and the Three Pillars in Freemasonry and the Three Crosses at Golgotha. But the best way that I can explain it is through astrology, even though it's all the same thing. Whether we're talking religion, whether we're talking the Native American symbolism or South American symbolism or African symbolism, it's all the same. You're looking at pictures that talk to you. So when I look at, I'm very drawn to these three pillars, and it's in Oklahoma. Really the closest thing that you would know to this, because it's out in the middle of nowhere, it is Mena, Arkansas. When you come off the reservation and cross over into Arkansas, there's only one road, and one way you come into Cove, Arkansas, and the other one you come directly into Mena, Arkansas, from here or onto the Choctaw Reservation. Now, I have known since the first time I was there as a little girl that I would be back there. I've had dreams about this place. I've had dreams that I did not understand until I learned symbolism. And now I really understand after going on after seeing the original symbols from the Navajo and the Hopi. Now I know. I don't think anymore. I don't guess anymore. I actually know. And I am right now, I'm exhausted. I'm sorry, but this is the first time I've slowed down. I just took me a bath, and before I actually get some rest, I decided to make this video so that I could catch you guys up. I'm just now realizing it's Valentine's Day. I didn't even know what damn day it is. I didn't even know what day of the week it was. I have been so lost in all of this. It's like I have been in another world with these people. It means everything to me. I have put so many pieces of the puzzle together, not just for myself, but for other people. And now there are two groups and two different tribes that their younger people are now interested in the symbolism and alchemy and astrology, because now the colors and the shapes all make sense. You see, it's been told throughout the tribes. We know they came in and they took the children, they put them in, they took them away from their families, they put them with white families, raised them as their subordinate children, if you will, and when they took over all the tribes, they killed all the chieftains, they killed all the holy men with all the knowledge, but the white man didn't think very much of the women. They raped them, bred them, made maids out of them, whatever, but they didn't understand that the real knowledge was kept by the women. You had the holy man, but the women got the last say in the tribe. They got the first and the last say. The men could argue it out, but you took it to the elder women. They made the decisions. They had the final say. They could veto you, right? They had veto power. They didn't pass legislation, but they had veto power. They could endorse it or not. And none of these symbols that have been all over Google, and even the jewelry and the art and the blankets and the stuff they have now, it's not like the original. It's variations. And in alchemy, when you change the color of a thing, you change its power. But this one here is the closest that I can see. New Mexico, Arizona, the land of enchantment. They get their symbolism. The state took the symbolism from the Native Americans and made it their own. The white man's state. So they take the original symbols and then they, like this, that says mountains. Hell no, that don't say mountains. What does that say? That says Aquarius. That says Taurus. That says Gemini. That says Aquarius. That says Aquarius. Look at what you're looking at here. And when you know the alchemy of it, this is the fixed part of the fixed cross. The moon is part of the cardinal cross. So they're showing you the power here, and this is not lightning. In alchemy, that symbol, the Nazis used it, and what it represents is artificial initiation. It's being initiated without your knowledge or consent. When you are, when the government makes you go to school, Head Start, preschool, kindergarten, first grade, you have been initiated, but you consented, but you weren't aware that you were being initiated, so you actually didn't consent to that. You didn't consent to be brainwashed and initiated, but that's what you were. But unfortunately, our school systems have initiated us into a lie. Now, this symbol might mean Aquarius, but you need to know what Aquarius represents. And Aquarius represents the higher self, the memory, your third eye, your higher self, and the age of fixed air, the age of knowing, the age of, like now, we're all connected by the internet in the physical world, but in the real age of Aquarius, we don't need the internet. We don't need it now. We're all telepathic. We just don't know how to use it. We have been taught to use our physical bodies instead of our spiritual bodies. We've been taught to use our physical mind, and any time a child tries to use its spiritual essence or its spiritual self, they're shut down. Oh, you don't talk about that. You don't do that. I mean, some kids are so awake, the real wake, not this fake woke, faux woke shit that's perpetrating out now. because that's the same thing as what I found in Sedona, is it's bull crap. It's all fake and commercialized. It's there to make $1 and to harness the energy, but pervert it at the same time. And in alchemy, it's as simple as, like I said, changing a color or mirroring it or turning it upside down changes the power of that symbol. And we connect with this. We're doing the manifesting. I'm starting to understand, if you're manifesting this horrific shit in your life, then you have attached yourself to symbolism that is empowering this. Now, biblically, because really, to me, language, the Bible, opened up to me as an astrology alchemy book, and it's about the 4 elements and the 3 crosses and everything we need to know. And we're told that we war not against flesh and blood. In the Greek, they translated to say, but we wrestle against powers and principalities on high. That's how it's translated to us. The word power is knowledge, because that's the only thing that gives you power over somebody else, is knowledge. So we're wrestling against knowledge and principalities. And principalities are set alchemy, the language of the universe. So we should be not warring with powers and principalities. We should harness. We're warring against it. We're warring against it because it's been flipped on us. So we got to turn the ship around. That's navigation. That takes Mercury. Mercury rules reason, logic, and intelligence. He is Buddha in Gemini. He is Nike. He is the messenger. He is the message. But in this age of flipped, it is Loki, right? He becomes Loki. Loki is a trickster. And the trickster, the game that's being run on this planet. I just left Las Vegas. And I finally get it. I was in the middle of the forest, so all I saw were the individual trees. But when I left and began to, what actually was I in the middle of? I understood it's the game. It's about the game. We can call it the game of life. You can call it whatever you want. But the game of life is played in symbolism, and there's no way around it. I was stunned when I first entered the Akashic records, and I knew that's where I was at. And there were no books. None. Absolutely no books. It was like being in a museum. And there's this old dude there, and I'm like, where are the books? And he says, it is what you see. And now I understand. It was full of paintings and sculptures and art of all kind. That's what it was. And I understood. I just came to understand. It's what we see with our eyes. They trick us by our eyes. The eyes are the window of, not to the soul, of the soul. It's the way you get into the body, good and evil. I have a problem with a lot of words that are given to us. I talk about this all the time. I have a problem with the word bless, because the Arabic is iblis, same word, alchemically, and it's a bad thing. It's the bad guy. Iblis is the bad guy. It's evil. Like evil and live and alive, all of these words. My name is LVT. but you turn it around and it's TVL. And TV is the Tuhu Vuhu. It's the frickin' overthrow. It's the void in Genesis. God, L, Tuhu Vuhu, LTV. You have to know what these symbols mean. Now, these dreams that I've had recurring my whole life, when I am on one side of the Mississippi River and I'm looking across the Mississippi River at Memphis, and Memphis is way low. There isn't a brick standing. That city is built like old Chicago brick, and one good earthquake and that whole city is going to crumble. It is by no means is anything there built to withstand an earthquake like what rumbles California all the time. Even a small 4 or 5 point earthquake, a 6 point, would devastate Memphis. But what I saw, it was waylaid. There was nothing but rubble and that damn pyramid sitting in Memphis. And I had to cross the Mississippi and go into the pyramid. And all this abomination was on the walls in there. And I was told to just use my breath and blow it away. And it was because it was like sandstone. And they built their house on the sand, and I could just, and all those ugly images just disappeared. All that perversion was gone. It purified the temple. The temple is your mind, by the way. So you have to get rid of the bad symbolism, the perverted symbolism that's given to you by the state, while they take your good symbolism and give you the version they want you to have, which really goes back to Mercury again in this Loki character, because it has to do with commercialism and advertising. And to have a company, you have to have a logo, which is a symbol, which is a seal, which connects you to something in the universe. And so now you've made a contract or a bond, or you're tethered to that thing that you've got this symbol to, and it's feeding you energy. Mars feeds you emotional energy. Mars rules emotions. So when you have all this Mars symbolism, you'll find symbols of depression. Mercury again, pharmaceutical company. The pharmaceutical company runs everything retrograde because it's RX. RX is the symbol for retrograde. So that means ass backwards. So the medicine that they're giving you, I don't care if it's a freaking placebo, because of the symbolism on the bottom, and that you contract into accepting that symbol in your hand, that RX, then it's like the water experiment, and you feeling of love and happiness, and as this water freezes, it'll make crystals that are just beautiful patterns. But then you do the same thing to the water with hate and anger and revenge, and it becomes distorted and almost like a Picasso instead of something nature, the universe, creates through symbolism. I cannot stress to you people, please start teaching your children the symbols of alchemy the correct way while they're young. I need to do a book. I need to do a lot of shit. I need a freaking secretary to do that, because as organized as I try to be as a Capricorn, the older I'm getting, the worse I'm getting at it. I'm not as motivated as I used to be in my younger days. I deal with a lot of pain, really off the charts kind of pain, and I just push through it. I don't know what else to do. Kratom helps me a lot. So, my journey must now that I know finally the last piece of the puzzle to that damn dream is, it's personal to me. I'm actually going to have to live it. I already knew that then, though. I knew it when I was having it, that I had to live it. That I have to stand on one side of the Mississippi, if y'all only knew what that river really is. And it is the antithesis to the Nile. It's its counterpart. You have the land of Osiris and the land of Isis. They're both fixed earth and cardinal earth. Egypt and the Mediterranean is akin to the Gulf of Mexico. Texas, Corpus Christi, the body of Christ. The BP oil spill, BP is 216. That's the number of God to the Jews. Oil spill is the anointing. It was a ritual. Everything you see is a show. It's a ritual. And when you watch these events, when you become emotionally involved in these events, Mars, it sucks your power. That's how it feeds off of you. You contract into it, because Pisces is the age of groupthink. There is power in numbers, and the numbers are power. And the DG is the GD. The Delta Gamma is the Dallas Gimel. Gimel Dallas. Gamma Delta Gimel Dallas Gimel. They swap places. And when the Hopi understood that, that's the one that really got it, is they understood that it's like crossing electrical wires and it short circuits. And you're telling the universe, this is what I want. And you get this perverted ass fucked up life. Excuse my French. My Francais. So, my journey must continue. And it's not. I know exactly what I have to do now. And it literally, I'm going to have to come full circle. Full circle. That's what I have to do. When we go into our minds, Uranus, which represents our conscious mind, is currently in Aries in the sidereal. If you have a zodiac that you have Uranus and Taurus, then you should have been alive 1700 years ago. Because I assure you, if you look up with a telescope, you will see Uranus in Aries, not in Taurus. That is tropical astrology. And if I had to say the who, what, when, where, why, and how is the difference between tropical astrology and sidereal astrology, tropical astrology is 23.5 degrees off of where sidereal astrology looks at the stars. Sidereal looks at where we, just like if we were looking at it with our naked eye. But because there is a 23.5 degree magnetic difference between true north and magnetic north. So sidereal astrology keeps in mind Polaris, or the three polar stars. Well, Polaris and Vega, and what's the other one? Procyon. Am I right about that? The three pole stars. But tropical astrology is factoring in that the earth is tilted. So it is more in conjunct with the compass and follows magnetic north instead of celestial north. It follows the north magnetic pole, and therefore adjust the stars to make it fit. They made it fit. They put a square peg in a round hole. That's what they did. And nothing that I have ever studied about tropical astrology made any sense whatsoever. Even a lot of the sidereal and Vedic astrology, I have to say there's so much prognostication in it that's just like hocus pocus. But I get it. It's chance. It's the game. You gotta cast the lots, roll the dice, take the chance, get out of bed every day, take another breath. Because this is the game of life. And we've not been told what the rules are or how to play. And therefore, we literally have been born into slavery since before the age of Pisces, that's for sure. As long as religion has been around, because that's the damn lie and a half if there ever was one. And some of the best people on the planet, they flock into all these religions of different kinds because they're searching. There's something about them that they hear something or they see something that they can connect with. They're hoping for the goodness and the kindness and the love, and you know what they get? They get lied to. They get fleeced. The sheep get fleeced, my friend. Be careful though, because the flock, which was the sheep in Taurus, and then in Taurus and Aries, it was the flock, and in Pisces, you became a school of fish, and in Aquarius, again, we return to a flock of birds, air sign. So the flock becomes birds. So we should, one, if we're in Pisces, stop being sheep. Be fish. Fish, school. Birds of a feather flock together. Fish, in nature, birds don't cross species. They don't cross. Bluebirds do not mate with red birds. If they did, we'd have a purple bird. But we don't have that. That doesn't happen in the bird kingdom. Now, you'll have different breeds of chickens that do. You can have different chickens of different feathers, and they do. But those birds don't fly. Birds that interbreed species, that's how they domesticated it. You had to remain a pure bloodline bird to fly. Birds that interbred no longer fly, according to nature. So I'm really excited about the days ahead. And I'm very, very exhausted. I was hoping to make this a 15-minute video, but how is that possible? This video here could easily go 5 hours with all I could talk about and all I was shown. Now, I do not have permission to talk about the symbols that I was told I can't tell anybody. So I'm not going to talk about those. But I can talk about what they're not. And I have 3 symbols. I need the 4th. Like Gurdjieff said, there's the 4th way. I know the 4th way is air power. I already know this. I understood what Gurdjieff did. But you need to connect with your inner self. You need to connect with your spirit guide. The South Americans connect, and they see the serpent people, they understand the symbolism. But when a European goes to South America and does ayahuasca, or an American goes to, which is European mostly, You go down there, you don't understand none of that. Oh, I saw this, and you know nothing. If you don't know the symbolism, you know nothing. You can't know astrology without knowing the symbolism. You can't know Freemasonry. You can't know Kabbalistic teachings. You can't know Pythagoras and the Pythagorean theorems, or none of that. You can't understand any of it. We have a lot of knowledge, but without understanding of that knowledge, there's no wisdom. Chakma, Bina, which are Jupiter and Saturn. Chakma and Bina. Chakma, Jupiter. Bina, Saturn. The spirit and the flesh. Chakma, we got plenty of. Bina, none. We're disconnected. We're unplugged from our higher selves. And you have to come in through the straight and narrow. If you come in any other way, you're a thief and a liar. And that's the other two pillars. There's only, again, knowledge, Aquarius, without understanding. To understand, you must stand under. When you stand under, you have to look up. If you look up, you can only see the stars. And to me, again, I think we're inside the mind of God, whatever the fuck that is. That's what astrology teaches, that we are thoughts in the mind of God. We're manifest. We're like God having a dream. But in God's dream, you can have any dream you want. It's like playing the video game Sims or Empire Earth, and you can build your own worlds. Well, how are you supposed to do that if you don't know the language? That's like sitting somebody down in front of a computer that's never been in front of a computer and tell them to write their own code, their own program code. They couldn't do it. They didn't know what the hell you're talking about. Most people that's on their smartphones and their computers all day, they don't know shit about it. They don't know how it runs. They don't know the coding and the language behind it. They couldn't tell you what the operating system was. What's your OS? Huh? How many gigahertz your PC you got? What? They don't know the language. And the one thing about alchemy and the symbolism here is it's a universal language. So a holy man from China can talk to a Hopi. As a matter of fact, the Hopi language is reversed from the Tibetan language. I've known that for a long time anyway. It's one of the first Native American languages other than Cherokee that stood out because you found its reversal right away. Like the Cherokee's reversal is the Egyptian. That's why you have Hawaii and Hauha'aya and How. How reversed is Wa. And that is very important. When the Native American held up one hand and said how, the answer was supposed to be the opposite hand, and the answer was Wa. And that's not what happened. The white man stuck his hand out and said, hello. Or something along the line of greetings. Don't shoot your arrows, I'm sure. I'm sure a few lies followed, but nonetheless, yeah, that wasn't the right answer. Now, was it? So, this is I know of several Native American tongues, and they're flipped around the world. And the patterns are starting to emerge. And it's the symbolism. When you see the original what do they call the Navajo? The code talker? What do they call them? We didn't even talk about that when I was there. I can't believe I didn't talk about that with them because of their tongue. And that's why they change our words and our tongues. And it causes confusion and a lack of understanding. Divide and conquer, yes indeed. Power in numbers. Alright, I'm exhausted. This is 45 minutes and it's still got to process and upload. And I might not push publish till I wake up. But I'm going down now. I'm really tired. I'm exhausted. I've had my brain sunk to dry in the past week. I've enjoyed every second of it. I'm not going to lie about it. I learned so much. I feel so connected now. I actually know what I'm supposed to do. But I don't want, for lack of a better word, I don't want to jinx it. I just want to do it. And then I'll tell you all about it. And there will be pictures coming too. I've got that as well. Alright, people. I'll catch up to you when I can. I know that when I wake up, I'm packing up and I'm out of here, headed to the next destination, and it's not where I thought I was going. And you'll be surprised too. And I'll update as soon as I can. And hopefully I'll be settled soon as well too. A lot in the works right now.